When we consider the person and the work of Jesus Christ, often our minds are drawn to his atoning work on the cross, that he died in the place of sinners as a substitute, and that he laid down his life for his sheep as the good shepherd. We can also think of other aspects of his life, the perfect life that he lived and that he never sinned, or the parables that he told, or the miracles that he performed. And all of those are certainly essential to who Christ is and the work that he carried out on earth. But one of the aspects that maybe we don't emphasize as much as we should, or can be maybe so taken for granted that it kind of falls to the back of our mind, is the love that Jesus Christ has for his church. When Jesus went to the upper room with his disciples, John in chapter 13, he says in verse 1, "And having loved his own, he loved them to the end." There's something about the way that John says that kind of a summary statement about the affections that Christ has for his church that is stunning. First, he calls them his own. You might kind of brush over that and not dwell on it as long as we should. I love the way that Thomas Goodwin summarized what Jesus means when he says his own. He says, but Jesus here calls them his own as in his own children, his own body, his own wife, his own flesh. There's a nearness, there's a closeness, there's an affection in the way that Christ loves his church. His love for his church is not a common thing. It's not a generic love. It's a love that only he has for his people. And when John says that he loved them to the end, we might be tempted to think, well, he loved them to the end, and by end, he means the cross. Well, certainly he did. But I think John is talking of more than just that. You might say, well, okay, maybe he loved them all the way into the ascension. Well, certainly he did, but I think more is meant. The word that John uses for end there in John 13:1, it has a sense of he loved them to the end of all things, that there will never come a time where Christ does not love his church. So no matter, if you are in Christ, if you're a Christian, if you have faith in Christ and trust him to save you, you have union with Christ in the gospel, you can know that no matter what you're going through in this life, and no matter what difficulties might fall on you, no matter what hopes and dreams are dashed, no matter what relationships are painfully severed and broken and may in this life never be repaired, you can know this for certain. Christ loves you and has set his affection on you. And there will never come a time in your life where he will cease loving you. And we need to be cautious not to think that his love is set on us for anything inherent in us, that we are so lovely or so lovable that, how could you not love us? That's not the sense. The understanding is this, that the heart of Christ is such, that the character of Christ is such that he can never stop loving those upon whom he has set his affection. So I want you to be encouraged if you're in Christ this morning or this evening or wherever you are. No matter what season you're in, you can know this. You have the love of the eternal God set upon you, and you will never find the borders of it. You will never find the edges of it. You will never leave the boundaries of the love of Jesus Christ. And that should be an immeasurable comfort in every season of life.